Welcome. Okay, here's a question right off the bat. How do I get him to marry me? So here's my first question to you is, does he know that you are interested in doing in furthering your relationship? Like, does your partner know of your desire to be his wife? Very basic question, except sometimes we don't really let our partners know, and we expect them to read our minds and to understand that that's what we want, right? What's wrong with talking about it? If you've been on my any other lives, this is usually my go-to solution because it's what works the best. If you have issues that you're wondering about with your partner, talk about them. We have been married 20 years. We find that we are constantly bickering over small stuff. Any advice? So my suggestion is there something going on that both of you are not talking about? Like, is there a bigger issue here? Was there something that maybe happened maybe recently or even months ago, whatever? Do you feel like there might be something that's occurred that you haven't addressed? When we don't have these conversations about the important things, we can end up getting really, really cranky, getting really, really irritable and impatient without really understanding why. It's also possible that you are just exhausted. You've both stretched yourself too thin, or one of you has, and you haven't made time to nurture your relationship, which is another big one that happens with couples, right? Especially when you've been married a while. There's a good chance that you share your lives in many other ways in addition to just your marriage. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you have property. Okay, here's a question. Are you happy? Are you asking me if I'm happy? Am I getting that correct? I am. Actually, I love the place in my universe that I am finally at. I've raised a couple of sons and they touch my heart every day in some way or another, even if it's just to really grate it and annoy me. Of all the stages in my life I've had, this one has been, I gotta say, my favorite so far. So thank you for asking. Thoughts on love languages and how we share love via our own, which is wrong for the spouse. All right, that's an excellent question. And people get a little carried away with the love languages because we seem to think that because we're good at one thing, that's the only one we should do. And this is what really confuses a lot of people. So let me just say this. Whichever love language you are good at, that your partner is not, it's important that you learn to help your partner in his or her love language. The both of you need to pick up the habits to adapt to each other. And this is very important, and let me tell you why. We are always looking for evidence in our heads. We want our partner's words to match our partner's actions. So if you are a person who does good things and does gestures because that's your love language, there's a little bit of an empty space when it comes to the words that your partner really needs to hear if your person is a word person, right? So you need to both learn what the other one needs and adapt to that. That's my advice. Thank you. All of the above your mentions are possible reasons. Oh, I am so glad. Yeah, I hope it works. Okay. My boyfriend has a problem with not getting his mom and sisters to respect me. He takes their side, I'm guessing. Have you let him know how much it hurts you that he takes their side? That is a heartbreaking place to be, I'm sure. So my advice is a couple of things. I don't know if I actually said it. I was thinking it. Is that does your boyfriend know that this hurts you? And the other one is, what is it specifically, what area is it that you don't agree? Okay, and I say this respectfully because I had been in that place where I felt like nobody agreed with me. And in those moments, once I've had some space, I've reflected and realized that there were some things I needed to have a look at. So I am not saying you are the issue. Far from that. But we should always be self-reflective to understand whether or not we might be. So, as my advice for everything is, look inward first. Is it possible, for example, and I know this was the case for me, that I was very irritable and I would bite people's head off and get very, very, very defensive if I thought somebody was coming at me. So again, I hope that that's something that you can reflect on between doing some of that inner work and having a deep conversation with your boyfriend, and then also investigating yourself about what this dynamic is all about. That's a lot for you to get started on. So I hope that helps. How come it is so hard to let go? Because it is. When we let go of something, when something ends, it's also the end of an idea we had on where things will go, right? It's not so much just, okay, that's not going to work out with that person. But while we were with that person, we had an idea of what we had an idea of what we really wanted with them. Maybe we fantasized a little bit. Maybe we looked a little too forward, but maybe our dreams kind of started to, oh my goodness, it would be really glad to have this with this partner. And so it's also the end of a dream. And for some of us, it gets hard because we seem to get it in our heads that we will never feel good again. The reality is we recover, and sometimes the losses are reminders for us to keep a good eye on what matters the most, and to not lose ourselves in that grief. Like, sit in that grief for a little bit, but don't live there. What's a common red flag that's overlooked at the beginning of relationships? Excellent question. A common red flag is if you are with someone who doesn't actually ask you a lot about yourself. Or when they do ask you about yourself, it's only like because they feel they have to, but they're not actually showing much interest. And if you're with somebody who's really super attractive maybe and has this charisma, and it's like, oh my goodness, how honored I am that he or she wants me. Like, we can get lost in the surface stuff, like looks and appearance and flattery. So pay very good attention to, does this person actually seem interested in me as a human? So look for that. My husband is mean to my kids, not his biologically. How can I fix this? Have a grown-ass conversation with him and let him know that this is not cool. This is not an option, and what is up with him. So have a conversation with him about what is it? What's going on here? Because the way you're behaving, it's not good for any of us. So what's really going on here? Like, have a chat with him to see if there's something bothering him about your kids or bothering him about your relationship with your kids. It's possible, which I suspect, is that he might be feeling like an outsider with the connections that you have with your children. And he might be feeling somehow jealous, because unfortunately this happens, about the attention and the place in your heart that these children occupy. So again, my solution is sit down and ask him what's going on and how can we fix this? What needs to happen here? Okay, dear therapist, are two wives okay in a relationship, or are you against that? I personally and professionally am against two wives. I don't know if you're being sort of joking or not. I'm against people not committing one-on-one solely to each other. That's tough enough with the barriers. You add another person and another factor in there, it complicates it and it dilutes somebody's commitment. And if you need another person in there, then there is a reason that you are not feeling that these two, just you and this one person, is complete. And that is that's cause for concern. So the question I have for you, if you really are serious about this, is why is this one person not enough? And whose issue is that really? Okay. If he does fix up after confrontation, okay. So somebody here's helping somebody, saying if he does fix up after, I'm guessing if he doesn't fix up after confrontation, leave him. Like, allow conversations to happen. And sometimes you'll have one conversation that leads to another, that leads to another. Anytime I've asked questions with the people that I've talked to, one question alone will never be enough. Thank you for the follow. Wait, thank you. Okay. And here's somebody saying, yes, I've had several talks with him. Nothing's changing. And so there's only so much that your talks can do. The only other thing that I would suggest is, as you are talking to this person, if the things that they are unwilling to look at is a game changer for you, if it is a deal breaker for you, you make sure to let them know. They need to know that. And you need to honor the things that matter to you the most. And so don't feel like you need to please and compromise and hate yourself because of it. Right? I don't feel respected and valued. I leave. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, if I don't feel respected and valued, I leave. Yes. Also make sure, hello again, Mad. Also make sure that you are treating this person with the love and respect that you want back, that you believe all humans deserve, because we all do. We all deserve respect in relationships, just so you know. Thoughts: resentment due to wanting a second kid, but spouse doesn't, but said they did want to previously. Okay, so he changed his mind, or she changed his mind. All right, that does happen. And again, I will say, talk about what is the problem here. Because sometimes the people hesitate for reasons they can't even name. Here are the usual ones that I've seen. It's like, I feel like I'm getting too old and I don't know that I want to do the baby stage again. Or I feel like life is really, really good just the way it is right now. And the idea of adding one more factor might be too much. Or I'm really worried about money and I don't think I want to, put in for daycare again and babysitters and all of that. Or I worry that you don't love me. I worry about you won't be giving me enough attention as it is because I'm feeling really lonely in a relationship. So see if you can get right to what the underlying issues are for your husband that is hesitating. Because that might be where the bridge is between the two of you. How do I tell my husband he needs to make me fall in love again after an affair? My question to you is, do you think you can let it go? And do you feel that your husband, who has had an affair, is feeling complete remorse? Like, do you see deep, deep regret in him, in his eyes when he apologizes, which I hope he's done by now? And follow that up with, do you believe that this will never happen again? Those are two things that need to happen in a relationship when a violation of that big occurs. So those are my questions to you is, do you believe that he is completely and utterly as remorseful as one should be? And do you believe in your heart that it'll never happen again? Because that might be what's holding you back, is that you don't believe that he is this person who you can trust. All right. My partner still always puts her family and friends before our relationship. How do I make myself priority? I'm guessing. Oh, how do I make myself heard? Excellent question. I'm guessing you've tried to be priority in your partner's life. I'm guessing you've had this conversation. Like, we'll start there. I'll go on the assumption that you've had this conversation to say, I feel like you don't put me first. And I feel like I am, I don't know, something you kind of get together with when you're bored. In addition to having the conversation of, hey, what's going on here? Do you think that there are other things happening that your boyfriend partner is avoiding? Like, again, do you feel that your partner is over this relationship? Do you feel like he's half in? Do you feel like, because people do this, people check out of relationships without telling their partners. This happens all the time, which is the cause of a lot of heartbreak, right? And heartache. And sometimes they don't even know they checked out. But if you watch their behaviors, it's like they're already committing, they're already behaving like they're not committed anymore or that they don't care. So it is possible that that's a point that your partner has reached. Again, a deep conversation about that. If you check on my YouTube channel, I did have something on that about why does my relationship feel off? And so make sure you check that out. And let me just see if I can recall some of it. And basically, it's that sometimes your relationship isn't what you think it was. Or you haven't reconnected in a while. That's kind of the gist of what I can come up with right now. And boom, shakalaka. You're funny, Matt. All right. Okay, I haven't. He denies it. Okay, what is that connected to? The I haven't, he denies it. Just give me a minute. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Okay, I have had several talks with him. Nothing has changed. And he doesn't fix. Okay, so again, denial will not help. And some of these things are deeper issues that it's really a good idea to see a licensed couples therapist to deal with them, because people can get really evasive and kind of avoidant even in your questioning, right? And if you have to work so hard to get through to someone, here's my other question is, why are you with someone who's pushing you away? I think my partner has an anxious attachment. He does too much for others. I'm guessing, should I tell him? Is him doing too much for others impacting him or yourself negatively? Because whether or not he has an attachment, whether or not he is anxious attachment, whatever it is, if it's ain't broke, we don't need to fix it, right? Now, is he spreading himself too thin? Is it now getting in the way of the things that matter to you? Is he coming home exhausted with no time for anybody else? Because some people just really like to help other people. Now, if it's a boundary issue and it's draining them, then yes, you should have a discussion with your partner. Tips on letting go of a 4-year relationship, how to deal with it. Honesty is the best thing. Don't keep them hanging on. Release them. My new motto, my new slogan for my relationship coaching is love strong or move along. If you do not see yourself committing to this human long term, if you do not respect this person in the way that you really should respect somebody you're going to be in your life with forever, if you don't love this person the way you really ought to love a human who you want to spend forever with, set them free. And it's as simple as things just aren't working out anymore. Speak from your heart. And that's it. Your version. Those are my words. If they work for you, go ahead. But tweak it your way, as in, I do not see us moving forward together. Whatever it is, just do it. Set them free. Set yourself free. And get busy with your own recovery, because that's going to happen for you as well after 4 years. I hope that helps. I was arranged married, but he's really nice. But I still feel lonely even though he puts in so much effort. Oh, that's lovely that he puts in so much effort. How do I change the way I feel? He's amazing, but I feel disconnected. What's the disconnect for you? My question is, why do you feel disconnected? Do you feel like because it was an arranged marriage that it's not possible for you to really love somebody? Like, is there a part of you that's kind of judging that process and thinking there's no way that we could happen? Because it sounds to me, if I'm to be really honest, it sounds to me that you are putting some space between the two of you. And I don't know if you know that. And maybe there's a part of you that doesn't really want to let him in because you're afraid you're going to get hurt. And maybe there's a part of you thinking that, well, it's arranged, so he can't possibly really love me, right? And to be fair, I've heard of many where it's worked out very, very well. And the two are committed and love each other and respect each other and value each other. And so is the definition of arranged marriage a big deal for you? And are you making a lot of assumptions about him based on that phrase? And are you trying to protect yourself a little too much? That happened to me. 20 hours labor changed my mind. Yeah. All right. I have complex PTSD from previous relationships, being a young widow. After much therapy, I'm scared to date. Oh, sweetie, I understand that. Of course you would be. And dating is scary. Putting yourself out there is scary. Opening your heart to other people are scary. I love, though, that you are aware of some of the things that are holding you back. And so, again, rest assured that every single one of us human beings are afraid of hurting. And so maybe the way to really have a look here is for you to think, what do I think will happen if I do date? And if that did happen, do I believe that I'll recover? Because if you look at your own history, you have recovered. At least that's the impression I'm getting, is that you recovered, even from that traumatic relationship. But give yourself some breathing room to really process all of this. Because I wouldn't be surprised if there's a part of you that's just like overly looking for reasons to not, and that, you're with somebody and you're looking for everything that's wrong with them, which is a downfall to having had rough relationships. But just rest assured that there are many very, very good humans out there, just like yourself, who want and need something healthy. Big difference between monogamy and fidelity, absolutely. Oh, thank you for sharing this live. Anybody, if you know that of anyone else in your life who could use this, feel free to share. I love that people do that because, it might be really helpful for somebody. Okay, yeah, they can mean the same thing, but they're not the same thing. Absolutely. Very, very different things. Is it possible to get over many years of resentment? Yes. Yes. The quick answer is yes. So if you are in a relationship with someone and you resent them, that's tougher because they're sitting there, a reminder of what happened. And if you are not talking about the things that you are resentful about, or that your partner is resentful about, that can just get bigger over time. So the best way to get over this resentment stuff is to pick at it and pick it apart and break it down. Here's an example, and this happens a lot. Some people get afraid to talk about the things that caused them trouble. So maybe it was, I don't know, here's a common one. Your mother visited and it was really, really tough on me and I resented that you, I don't know, abandoned me for her or whatever. And so if you really want to get over it, it should be okay for you to speak about your pain. And the other way around too, if your partner is resentful for something, it should be okay for them to speak about their pain. This world needs people to understand that pain somebody is telling us about is not always an attack. It's not somebody telling you about their pain is not always an attack. It could be a way to just release their feelings. So talk about the things that you are resentful about with the perspective of, this is just so we can release this crap that's sitting in here. And if you are hanging on to this, then it might be time for you to have a really good look inside about why you're doing that. I hope that helps. Hi, doctor. How do I tell my counselor I'd like to see a different counselor? I don't think we're a match. It's an excellent question. My first question to you is, are you sure? And what I mean by that is sometimes the counselors and therapists are so good, they're making you a little too uncomfortable and asking stuff. I don't want to deal with that. So it must be the therapist or the counselor who's the problem. That's a possibility. And so my question is, I'll easily answer, like, if you don't want to see them, you don't even, Just tell them it's not working out. Tell them that I don't think we are meshing. Tell them that we don't seem to be a good fit. That's a very easy answer that you can give any therapist that you have. And you are hiring this professional. And so in a way, this is just a strict, somebody's providing you a service. But I would ask myself before I make any big decisions is, why are we not working? Is this person getting too close? Is this person asking me questions I would rather not be dealing with? And if that is the case, then mention it to your counselor or therapist just in case that there is still a workable relationship in there, if you think so. If not, then just easily say, we're not a good fit, move on, find somebody that works well with you. I hope that helps. How do we get past a power struggle? All right, just get some hydration here. Why are you struggling for power? Why does somebody have to be more powerful than the other? Why are you battling for who is right and who shall be heard? Relationships are supposed to be equal. Two people are supposed to feel equal value in a relationship, as in your opinion matters just as much as mine, however alien it is. Like, this is basic respect, that both of you assume that the other's voice is important. And it doesn't have to make sense, but it has to become important to you, and it has to be heard. So if you focus more on hearing each other, and here's an easy question you can ask, you can tell each other, what is one thing you need me to hear from you right now? And clear that up. Just both of you ask that of each other, and both of you take notes and see where that gets you. But please abandon the power. There is not supposed to be a power imbalance in a relationship. How to convince a spouse to attend counseling or therapy? So many wait until the last straw. Absolutely. And I used to see quite of them as the last straw. And okay, so how to convince them to attend counseling or therapy? So many wait until the last straw. Let them know. Okay, I haven't posted this content that I meant to. Let them know that here's a statement you can use. I know we can do better. We need somebody to teach us how. There's that. There's the, I know you're trying to get through to me and I'm not getting it. So I think there are very well-trained people who can bridge this gap between us. Or, I really care about you and I really want this to work. I think we should give ourselves the best chance possible by bringing in a pro. Hope that helps. Thank you for the follow. All right. Depression may be ruining my relationship with my wife and son. On meds, always trying to make up for what I do. Do you listen to what your family needs from you? Because you might already be giving them what they need, or you might just be missing the mark. So the best way to deal with that is, maybe you could use a family meeting to say, I'm doing my best here. I'm just wondering if I'm missing something. Please tell me if there's something you need for me to hear. Okay. I hope that helps. I'm scared to leave him. I have no financial support. I highly recommend you look into, if you are with someone just because you don't have the financial resources, that is not a healthy reason. So my suggestion is to get busy looking on how you could do this. Does this mean that you need to find a side hustle? Does this mean you need to find a part-time job or a full-time job? Or does this mean you need to open up other avenues of how you can make this happen? This happens a lot where we convince ourselves we are powerless and helpless. And I know that place. Let me tell you, I know that place very well. But we aren't. Very few scenarios in our life are we ever really, truly powerless and helpless. So start thinking about how you can do this your way. And you can start thinking about, okay, think about a person you really respect, who you believe to be strong. And you think, okay, let's say her name is, I'll go Mel, because there's a friend of mine, Mel, on here. What would Mel do? What would Mel do? Well, I know what Mel would do. She would get up and she would make a list every day on how she can achieve this goal. And every day she would try and achieve one thing. And maybe it's only about looking at resources that's available. Maybe it's just looking at, okay, I don't need a down payment for a new house. What's rent these days? What can I get for a 1-bedroom? Ooh, I'll even settle for 1 room. Never mind an apartment. Who can I call? Who can I, allow yourself to consider allow yourself to consider what is in my power to do. Thank you for the follow, you guys. I judge others to protect myself. I have recovered, but I'm so scared. Yes, that's exactly what I do. Just cut yourself some slack in understanding that's a habit that you've picked up of doing, but that does not to be, it's a habit you've picked up, but it doesn't have to be your MO. It doesn't have to be the thing that you practice your life with. That's only one. There's a part where, yes, I feel unsafe around others and I want to push them away. There's also the possibility of, I can put myself out there once in a while. Not everybody I know is an e-hole. There are some good people in my life, even if it's only, some people that you only know peripherally. But just allow yourself to think about, okay, this is how I think. I get really, really protective, but that's only one way, because some other people think this way. And I've been there once in a while where I feel really good and I feel that I am capable. Okay. I told my partner I lost respect for him, but he wants to go to marriage counseling. He's an alcoholic. I'm done. I'm so sorry to hear. Yeah, if you've lost respect, and it sounds like that respect continues to be gone, I'll tell you right now, marriage counseling will not change that. Because if you're talking about somebody with a deep addiction who has no intention of fixing it, the problems will repeat themselves. When you think about it, when you think about how long it takes to develop a habit or how long it takes to break a habit and what you are like when you are breaking that habit, that's a lot for a person to go through. And so, yeah, it takes a long time and concerted, dedicated effort to quit a habit and stop it from hurting other people. Yeah, your energy is so peaceful and kind. Oh, thank you. You're sweet. I'm happy to do that here for people who are open to it. Can relationships work after cheating? And he kept talking to her after me finding out. You want the ugly truth? No. The act of cheating in itself is disrespectful. The act of continuing connection with her, I'm guessing it's a him, her, is another further act of disrespect towards yourself. So I do not see how a relationship can be healthy and thrive without respect. It's key element. I'm having a hard time communicating with hurtful emotions to him. It created arguments. Let's see if there's any more on from that same person. No, I think that's just most of it. Okay, let me read that again. I appreciate your patience, you guys. I see there's 29 new messages I haven't gotten to. I'm doing my best here. All right. I'm having a hard time communicating the hurtful emotions to him. It creates heated arguments. So you're saying when you speak about your hurtful emotions, it ends up in a fight. That's going to happen. And it might just be that the words you can use are something like this. I need for you to hear my pain without getting angry at me. Is that possible? I'll say that again. I need for you to hear my pain without getting angry at me. Is that possible? Because that's what people do, right? They hear something they don't like, up come the walls. And a lot of life will get sorted and relationships get sorted when those walls don't go up as high and don't go up as quickly. Okay, but trying to change now, and how do I get over it? Sorry, you guys. There's a way to pin, and I've tried it, and it hasn't really helped me much anyway. All right. No, I'm not seeing the continuation of that. All right. I appreciate your patience, everybody. Doing my best. All right, I got to that. I got that. Oh, there we go. Can relationships work after cheating? And he kept talking to her after finding out. And then there's a continuation. Am I trying to change now? And how do I get over it? So you think, so he's trying to change now. And how do you get over it? Again, you have to be, are you sure you want to get over it? Like, do you really see yourself moving forward with this, knowing that he's capable of this? Because that might be what the issue is that you're forcing yourself to be this person who can let it go, but maybe you aren't, right? So again, look inside and ask yourself, do I really want this? Because if you did, it wouldn't be so hard to get over it, because you would feel valued and respected with him. All right. Thank you for the loves. Thank you for the follows. My husband doesn't think a therapist will work and will just say what he already knows. It's possible. We do that. Just a disclaimer here. I'm no longer a licensed therapist. I was for 35 years, and I parked that so I could be a relationship coach doing this exact thing. You can't really do that very easily as a therapist. And so, but that is what therapists do. They see things that the partner can already see. The good part is therapists are the meeting ground where they can explain it to the partner who doesn't usually want to hear it. If you have a really good therapist, they could be the interpreter who can deliver the message clearer that the other one is too angry to hear. So that's my take. If you have a good therapist, that would be the difference. Everyone knows the answers. It's just hard to put into action. Very well said. Is it odd? I'm convinced that I don't have an equal and no one will be the same on the same page as me. That's okay. That's good for you to have high standards. Just don't put them too high. And you might not find an absolute equal, but in the way that you think. But I assure you that there is somebody out there who believes the same and is probably looking for you. All right. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Wow. Been in a relationship for 17 years, married for 9, need advice for communication for anxious partner. All right. So your partner is anxious. Oh, so you want to talk to your partner who is an anxious person, right? There's not a lot you can do to shield them from truths, so stop trying. My advice is just say what you really need to say, but you can start with a little opener. You can start with I hope you hear that I care about you, but this is what I think, right? And I have a freebie in my profile. It's a how to have difficult conversations. So that might be really, really helpful, actually. There's all kinds of stuff in that. That's for everybody, by the way. And how to bypass, how to avoid having big arguments over little things. All right. In a situation with my ex-fiance for the last 6 months, is it okay to go no contact to get away? Yes. You could do that if that's what you need. If this person is giving you some energy that you don't love and you think they're up to no good in some way, It's okay for you to get some space and say, okay, I'm blocking you for now. Maybe you don't even tell them. Just put some space and answer less. And hey, your time is your time. It's okay for you to shut a door that you want to, even if it's temporary or maybe it's permanent. You could do that. You could so do that. Why does my husband always bring in his family? Like, I don't need you. I have my brothers and sisters. Ooh. Do you ever tell him that that hurts when he says that? Because it's not a competition, right? I have brothers and sisters and I have a husband. There's no like them against them. Ew. No. Let him know that that hurts when he does that. It makes you feel less because you value him and you don't like the idea of feeling like you're being discarded. So let him know about your feelings. And he may not know that that's really all it is that he might be thinking you're making him choose, which we don't, right? If you're making somebody say, well, it's them or me, that could really be troublesome. And so just kind of let him know that, sometimes I feel like I'm not as important to you. That hurts a little. Feeling stuck in my relationship, I want more in life with them. I feel stuck. Let them know. Let them know. I want more. People break up over relationships like this. Relationships end over situations like this when one wants more and the other one does not. So if you're feeling stuck and you want more, let him or her know. I want more. And be clear about that. What do you want more exactly? Maybe it's just you want to change things up and you want to maybe go out more or go out less or have more alone time or whatever it is. But speak up about your needs. Thank you. You are most welcome. When someone lies and says something mean, I get very defensive. It's not worth it, but in the moment, it's big, right? Yeah, I can't help any advice. Give yourself some moments to pause. When somebody says something and it feels mean, take a breath. Just like this. Did they just attack me? Did they just insult me? Are they being mean? Like, allow yourself just like 4 or 5 seconds to reflect and pause and see if that helps. And also ask yourself, what if they're not? What if this is one of those moments I'm just being extra protective of myself? So allow an alternative way of thinking into that moment. I hope that helps. My husband of 10 years, emotionally cheated, but says it's not a big deal since it wasn't physical. Bull crap, it's a big deal. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like this is like, don't argue about whether or not, because he's going to minimize it because that works in his favor, right? And so let him know it is a big deal to you. And you're treating it like a full-on affair because it hurts you. How do you show respect? Okay, how do you show respect? It's actually quite easy. It's stuff like you let them talk and you listen to them intently. Another one is if you say you're going to do something, you do it. Don't say you're going to do something and not. Don't do one thing and then do another. Don't say one thing and then do another is what I meant. Sorry, make sure your words match your actions and ask them what they need from you. Instead of thinking, oh, I think they need this, I'm going to blah, blah. No, ask them, hey, what can I do? How are you? What do you need from me? How can I help you? Like, put it on them to give you what they need. That is definitely a show of respect. All right, I need a water. Actually, this is coffee, but just gonna... Wow, you guys are super active. I'm loving this. It just sounded like a really old McDonald's commercial, didn't it? I'm loving it. Okay, Oh, thanks for the gifts. No need, you guys. It's appreciated. Hey, anybody, if you really do want to support me, I'm not asking for anything, but I am trying to grow my YouTube channel. The link of that is above there. So feel free to subscribe, poke around in some of my longer videos, longer as in like they're like 3 minutes and some a bit longer. And that's a really good way to help me out if you are feeling inclined. I appreciate that very much. All right. Partner is depressed and is pushing me away. He tells me he doesn't care if I leave. Whoa. Sounds like he's really hurting. Wow. That's tough. My question is, do you want to leave? Is his depression killing your relationship? If you decided to because of his depression, you would not be a monster. We are all responsible for our actions in a relationship. If my depression is getting in the way of my marriage, that's up to me to fix. It's not up to my husband to go find me a counselor and book another appointment with my doctor and maybe book an appointment with my psychiatrist to make sure I've got the right whatever. That's not his job. That is mine. Relationships are for grown-ups, and that requires grown-up behavior, that requires being accountable for our own mental and physical health. So that's my suggestion is, are you spending all of your time trying to take care of him? And is this kind of become your life together? Because that's very, very hard on you, sweetie. My husband is enmeshed with his family. I feel stuck and that I can't get through to him. Oh, that's hard. Yeah. Do you love him? Do you love this man that's enmeshed with his family? And here's the more important question, actually equally as important question. Do you believe that he truly loves you? Like, do you feel that the three very important components of relationships, the intimacy, as in the deep love for each other, the commitment, as in we work through difficult things, and the respect, as in we value each other's opinions and words. If those three are not present, you are probably experiencing a lot of very deep heartache, and you might need to reconsider a few things. I'm just not sure what, but it's not painting a picture of a very healthy relationship. But if you tell me that he absolutely loves you and is committed to you and does respect you, there's a lot of good things there. That's all very good. Everything is possible. I'm angry. Angry at me? I'm not sure. If you are, let me know why. If not, send me a DM if I've offended you in any way. All right. Thank you for the follow. My ex-wife would never define me when her mother would respect. My ex-wife would never, I'm guessing defend. I'm guessing my ex would never defend me when her mother would disrespect me verbally for no reason. Oh, that is painful. That is painful. I'm guessing that's part of the reason you're now exes. That's kind of uncool, isn't it? Patient and a doctor. Okay, let's try to get some more questions. I'm going to try and buzz through a few more, so be patient with me, please. Top question to ask a spouse to start opening up, dig deeper into their needs and feelings. Ha! Great question. There isn't one specific top question. There are a million different ways depending on your personalities. If you want to go straight to intimacy that really digs deep, I do have a YouTube on that, and it is called How to Get Closer or something in your relationship. And it is about becoming more intimate, or how to increase the intimacy in your relationship. And I talk about the things that you open up about your past. That's the one thing I can remember. You talk about your feelings and your thoughts more, and you show more interest in theirs. So that's kind of the general ballpark, is stop talking about just the shallow everyday stuff. Not that that's shallow. It's important too, but start getting into the more deeper things, like your past, like your pains, like your worries, your feelings, and the thoughts. Okay. All right. Unrelated, but your hair is beautiful, naturally colored. Thank you so much. Very natural. I gave up on the Clairol from Walmart stuff. It just couldn't have been good for me, and my life is a lot easier. Thank you. All right. There's a conversation happening behind there, and I'm just going to leave it because I don't think I can do much about it. How to find a good marriage therapist. If you can by word of mouth, that would be great. Look for how long have they been practicing. Make sure they're licensed, as in, whatever state they're in or provincial license they have, like make sure they have that. And what else? Get a feel. Talk with them. Most therapists would be good to give you a free phone call at least and let them know, and use your gut feeling on that. Because I've had, when I was a marriage therapist, we had some situations there where it just wasn't going to go well. He didn't like talking. He didn't like hearing from a woman in general, no matter what I said. And then there were moments where, a couple would walk in and we would talk and it would be magic, can happen pretty quickly. So trust your gut on that, but ask for a little freebie kind of conversation by phone. Some of them will do that virtual. So ask. Feel free to, advocate for that for yourself. In a situation with my ex-fiance, I think I've already said this one. Yes, it's okay for you to not contact. Thank you for the follow, you guys. Congrats. Oh, thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. You guys have helped me a lot. Caroline and Steve are some TikTok coaches that have really supported my content and helped me up my game with you guys. So if you're looking for a really awesome people in the field, it's Caroline Flett and Steve K here. They're amazing. All right. Thank you for the follow, you guys. You listen to this woman. It's all communication. Oh, you guys are awesome. All right. My mother-in-law is a narcissist. We cut any contact, but I'm afraid of my future children. Oh. If you've managed to cut contact, obviously that's taken both of you. I wouldn't worry too much about your children, because if you can protect your relationship together, then you can protect your children too. And so should there be contact again later with whatever, you can police that very easily. There'll be ways. So I wouldn't worry about that. The stream is really popular. I'll ask a question later. Oh, sorry, bike boy. But DM me. Again, for anybody who's already sent me DMs, I'll do my best. Just give me some time to get caught up with everything that's happening. But anyway, ask your question anyway. You never know. I'm trying to cook through as many as I can and still without losing the importance of it. Is emotional abuse the same as physical abuse? Yes. It doesn't leave bruises. It doesn't leave broken bones, but it cuts us deep. In fact, sometimes it cuts deeper, because people minimize it and they don't stop it thinking that it's okay because they don't look any different. But yes, emotional abuse to me is the same as physical, equally as evil. Just as bad in my experience. Awesome. There you go. Worse. It's just as bad, can be worse in my experience. Absolutely. How do I make a deeper connection with a long distance relationship with only been dating a month? Aw, I'm glad you seem to really want to connect though. So all you really do is fall into some kind of good rhythm to communicate, and you stick to that schedule as best you can. And when you are visually together, I'm guessing between FaceTime and Zoom and all of the available things, only talk to each other. Don't have gadgets around. Don't be distracted, and only check in about each other. Never mind the small stuff. Like, keep out the, did I tell you? Like, concentrate on the two of you. Concentrate on what each other is feeling and going through at this moment. And make sure you talk about how much you care about each other in those moments that you do share. Why does my partner try to get under my skin and throws hands and he says, you hit me, but he has emotionally damaged me too? Ooh, this sounds like a very loaded kind of statement, right? Why does my partner try getting under my skin? So he eggs you on, I guess, tries to kind of set you off. And throws his hands up and says, you hit me. But he's emotionally damaging me too. Okay, there should not be any emotionally damaging anywhere in a relationship. It's not healthy for one to be egging the other one on or poking the bear to make it upset. No. Unhealthy dynamic. It doesn't have to stay that way. So my first statement to you is let him know that, okay, that is not nice. You doing that is really, really cruel. Do you know you're being cruel to me? And reflect back. Is it possible that you are also being cruel? Because if this is the dynamic that you have together, you got to break that, you guys. Not good for you or either of you. All right, it has been, I'm reading while I drink my water. Okay, I'll say it out loud now what I've been reading. It's been 6 years, no ring, and he disrespects my boundaries continuously. How do I leave and be okay after? Very easily. It's over. I've been here a long time. I've waited. Something is just not going to happen. And I enjoyed the time we've had, most of it. I gotta let this go. How to be okay after? If you break up in a manner that respects your own values, and if you respect how you behave is what's going to affect how you recover, right? So if you do it as best you can, and if he gets petty and he gets whatever, all of that, you just let that stuff go, you're going to be okay. People survive really, really dirty breakups, so you can survive a classy one. The only one who needs to be classy is you. No matter what kind of dysfunctional thing he tries to pull into you, if you stay classy, you will recover quicker. I know your grandson. I don't have a grandson. Anyway, maybe you guys are talking to each other. Emotional. Somebody's asking somebody else what emotional cheating is, and that's when you connect with somebody on a very deep, intimate level in a way that is inappropriate, that you wouldn't do in front of your partner. Like you wouldn't say those things in front of your partner to somebody else. That's emotional cheating. My husband My husband starts shouting while I have talk with him. Teenagers in the house. He says everything he do for the kids. He work hard for us, but he can't listen to me. He can go without talking weeks. Oh, sounds like you're dealing with somebody who's really, really tired and probably quite disconnected with himself. Yeah. So if your plan is to stay married, I guess, is it? And do you have to? No, you never have to stay married if you don't want to be married. Easy for me to say, yes, I know that that's a big statement to make. However, I'm stumped right now on what to do with that because there's so many different levels to that, and I don't want to just kind of say something without thinking it through. So the one thing you can do is tell him yelling is not going to help anybody. So let's not do that, and make sure you are not doing it either. Maybe the best you can do right now is turn down the volume for now. Husband says he isn't afraid of losing me. Uses faith to say he doesn't live in fear. Oh, man. Yeah. Is that true, though? Because some people will say that I'm not afraid of losing you. I don't care if you go, and then you go, and then they're a complete mess, right? Because sometimes people use those as words only and as an attack. All right. So I don't know that there's an easy one there. Again, there are bigger issues happening. So, Yeah, that's actually a very childish, immature thing to say, in that I'm not scared of losing you. Although, no, let me just say that. It's common for people to say, I'm not scared of losing you, but they don't usually mean it. And I've had many of those people in my office who have lost and are wondering why. All right. He hasn't committed to me and it's been 6 months, as in you're not exclusive. Is that my guess with the commitment? Let him know, hey, it's been 6 months. I'm exclusive to you. You should be exclusive to me. Just saying. And if you have disagreements on what that should be, then you should be talking about them. Talk, talk, talk. Get off on the right foot when it comes to relationships. Start talking. Husband died 2 years ago. Found out after he was seeing a man. How do I grieve when I'm mad? That's tough. Sending you a big virtual hug. Yeah. You're going to be angry, and anger is part of the grieving process. Let's not judge ourselves for that. You've got a lot of emotions and you're processing all of them. So just let them flow. Allow yourself to have these emotions. Talk to people about them. Talk to yourself about them. Journal about them. Sing about them. Listen to music about your emotions. Let the emotions flow, and that usually helps people quite a bit. You'd be surprised at the power of just that release. Okay, I want to end my engagement, but he feels really guilty. Okay, I want to end my engagement, but feel really guilty about it. Is that normal? Ending an engagement? Yes. People think they should feel guilty about that. And it's a normal feeling for you to want to not hurt someone. But if you do not see a future in it, you should be more feeling guilty about dragging it out and leading him on or her on that this is going to be something, when in your heart you already know it isn't. So my suggestion is, don't let that guilt stop you, because that guilt is not going to change the reality if it really is something you no longer want. So you may need to feel guiltier for dragging it out. Okay. You guys are awesome. Thank you. My best friend, my boyfriend, has the best girlfriend at work. They text each other every day. Is it normal? It happens. My question to you is, do you believe this friend wants more from your boyfriend? Or do you think your boyfriend wants more from this best girlfriend at work? Again, talk about things, right? That would be my suggestion is, how do you really feel? And do you have some insecurities? And do you have good reason for it? So pull that apart, pick that apart and have a discussion with him. I'm in a relationship for 10 years and he hasn't asked me. When I bring it up, he gets upset. Or he says he'll do it because he knows that's what I want. Is it really what you want? If he'll do it because it's what you want, maybe that's a good enough reason. Like, what is I'm guessing you want to get married, or I'm guessing you want more. And you don't think, so what if he does it because it's what you want? That's okay too. Right? As long as you know that he really does care about you and wants a life with you. And you can clarify that. Are you going to resent me for this? Are you going to think I only did this because, really, we can't make anybody do anything we don't really want them to do. Right? He has his own mind and body and thoughts, and he is responsible for his own behaviors and his own actions. Okay. Thank you for the follow, you guys. My husband and I are in a bad place. He blames me for everything. Oh, ow. Yeah, that's tough. And I suggest that you guys unpack that, maybe with a professional if it's that bad. Again, don't wait until it's too late, you guys. If there are things that need to be unpacked properly, I highly recommend you go find somebody to do that with. Or maybe it's just, unless the two of you can sit down and talk like grown-ups and pick it apart yourselves, that's when you wouldn't need anybody else. What happens when you're married almost 25 years together, 30, and haven't spoken to him in 4 years and 3 months, or 43 months? Either way, why are you not talking, you guys? What's going on there? It just seems to me that if you want to stay together, you're going to have to talk. So if the relationship is over, one or both of you should get busy ending it. But why drag it out if you already know it's over? Or get fixing it. Again, back to my slogan. Love strong or move along. Why are you wasting your time with each other if you're not feeling like you really want to? Or maybe you do, but you're just not sure how. Then get busy learning how. Again, my opinions. Thank you guys, for all the follows and the gifts. My husband gets jealous. I treat my mom better than his mom. She's my mom. He compares too much. Yeah, it sounds like he compares too much, but it also might be feeling like he might be having some doubt about maybe that you disrespect his mom, or maybe he's just worried that his mom is feeling abandoned or neglected, or maybe she wishes a closer relationship with you. So check that out with him. Like, ask him, like, is your mom kind of questioning whether I care about her or not? Again, talk about the undercurrents. Talk about the undercurrents, people. Talk about the words that are not being said. More follows. Awesome. Thank you. All right. I need a water break as I read. I have 3 friends, each in their own relationship, and they always ask me for advice. That's cool. I just now tell them to go get counseling. Even better. Maybe you're really good at giving some good solid guidance. That's a lot on you. And yeah, absolutely. Even if you're good at it, you shouldn't really have to. You could just kind of, hey, I care about you, and just provide some support. I love that. How do you build trust after infidelity? Separated for over a year, tried to reconcile once this year. And the lowest, that's liking, that's over lowest. Okay. All right. How do you build trust after infidelity? Separated for over a year, tried to reconcile once. Have you gotten over it? If you were the person who cheated, or if you were the person who was cheated on, whoever was cheated on, have they recovered? And whoever did the cheating, have they fully apologized with 100% remorse in their heart? So I would go there first, as in, how is the one who's been cheated on dealing with this? And again, has there been full remorse, 100% remorse? And does this person who was cheated on believe that it will never happen again? We can get over anything when we are sure that will never happen again. But if we're not, then it might be unrecoverable. I have to say that, you guys. My husband works all week long, and I'm at home all the time. He never helps around the house. Does he have time to help around the house, though? Because that could be the issue too, right? Is that maybe he just doesn't have it in him anymore. And maybe you might be feeling, if anything, that he doesn't appreciate what you do. And that's also something else that you can address with them, to saying, I feel like you take for granted what I do here. If there are things you can have him do, like check it out with him. Like, sit down with him and say, I could really use some help. Can I give you this task? Like, narrow it down. Don't just say, I want you to help out more around the house, but just make it like, can you just always be the one to empty the dishwasher? Can we handle that? Or can you just always take out the garbage when I ask you to? Like, just kind of be clear on what your expectations are, instead of a blanket, I really want you to help out more. Because that's confusing, right? It can be. How do I convince him to do premarital counseling? He's not keen. To be honest, I'm not sure that I would be either. It depends on what you expect the prenatal. It depends on what you expect the premarital counseling to do. Now, I know, especially in the Catholic Church, I'm Catholic, and they have a lot of these like marriage preparation courses and all of that. So what are your issues? Like, what are you concerned about? Because if there are things you really want to know right now, then I think you should just ask him. That's my solution is before you're even married, get used to talking about hard things, because you're going to have to. I can't wait till I see all your videos. It's important to fix and understand each other. Just got married. Congratulations. Yes. And everybody here, if you have more content ideas that you'd like me to have, comment on any one of my videos. I should know it's kind of, my account has gone wild with all the news followers I've had, which I love, but it's a lot for me to deal with. DM me, send me an email. My email address is, you can find it through all of my stuff upstairs. I'm getting tired, I think, in my profile. And I'm always I want to make sure I create content that's useful in every way. I'm going to stay on for another like 10 minutes or so, but my energy is starting to wane. And so I'll just kind of see what I could do with what's in here. Thank you for the follow, you guys. My husband threatened to really stop talking to me after an argument. What do I do? Okay, I was about to say something snarky, like, sounds like that might be a good idea, that he just stopped talking to you. That sounds like he's doing some kind of power thing and he wants you to do something. As in, stop talking or I'm not going to talk to you. That sounds like a little bit of like putting conditions, right? Let me read it again. My husband threatened to really stop talking to me after an argument. What do I do? If it were up to me, I would tell him that would be very, very unkind, cruel, nasty, and bad for the two of you if he did that. Because that is not healthy behavior for a relationship. And you can let him know that as far as you know, relationships are for grown-ups that require grown-up behavior where we deal with things. If you need to take a break because the emotions are high, take a few minutes break. If you need a really big break because the emotions are really high and you need to reset yourself, take 24-hour break. Don't wait too long because that just builds resentment and builds more resentment. And it's just not healthy. So that's my rule for any kind of discussions that need to happen, you guys. 24-hour break is plenty, or much less if you can. Here we go. And somebody's giving some suggestions here. Sitting down, serious talk, and come up with a plan. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for your help, Jay. We are both in therapy individually, currently in divorce process. Oh, I see. Okay. Let's see if that's connected to another... If I can, how do you build trust after infidelity, separated for over a year, tried to reconcile, and then this is the follow-up content to that, which is we are both in therapy individually, currently in divorce process. All right, so somebody started divorce. Is that something like you both want? I'm guessing that you both. And then, so I would start just kind of for yourself is just start grieving. Preemptive grieving of all the things that couldn't happen, didn't happen, all the things you wanted to happen that never will, because we can grieve something that we never had and will never have with someone. And just, I'm glad that you are both seeing somebody for yourselves. So, good job, you guys. I struggle when my partner has his children. I'm guessing when he has his children over, I feel like I become invisible and he puts all his time and effort into them. I'm expected to just go along with it. This is a very common issue for steps. And just so you know, this came up in conversation before. There were many, specifically women actually, who kind of said, my kids come first. And there were a few men who also said, my kids come first. Do not misread that into anything to do with you. But I would connect with your partner to say, I know your kids come first because you had them in your life before you had me. or whatever the thing is. But you can let them know, I could sure use a little bit more acknowledgement when they're here though, because I'm not a dumping ground. I'm not a maid. I'm not an accessory. Can we make that happen? Yes, you value them. Yes, they are center to your universe. I get it, but I would sure appreciate some respect. Can we do that? That's my suggestion. When he gets days off, he won't do anything when at home. All right. Something might be going on for him there, eh? When he gets it. This is more from Katie. All right. Wow, this is a really jam-packed live today. I love it. Thank you, you guys. Okay. Yeah, well, when he gets 2 days off and he won't do anything when at home, it might just be total exhaustion, to be honest. That maybe the job has taken everything, and might be even experiencing some unhappiness with his job, overwhelm in life. Like, see if you can just be there for each other in some emotional way, and not read too much of don't start to think, well, he doesn't care about me, or he doesn't want to help out, or any of that. Just find a way to connect, you guys. Connect. Okay. I am lost. Okay, somebody responding back to somebody else. I'm lost between leaving and giving a last chance. My partner is abusive, uses silent treatments. Then my question to you is, why would you give somebody abusive a second chance? Love is not enough. Love is not enough. The silent treatment is disrespectful. Again, some people get emotionally overwhelmed. They need to take a break. They could take a break, but it does not have to be utter silence. It could just mean, I need a pause here. And it doesn't need to be silent treatment it could just be silent treatment about that particular issue, but that there is an agreement that you will revisit it again because it's important. All right, my partner always wants me to go over to his family, but they don't get along with me. Sounds like your partner wants for you guys to get along. So my question to you is, it's not even a question. Maybe one way you could do this is tell your partner what he can do to make those visits easier for you. Because it's never really just the in-laws, it's also how the couple handles the in-law situation. Just like the last video I posted that is up to like 350,000 views. It's what the couples do about the in-law situation that matters. All right. Do you think it's possible to grow from your own trauma while in a healthy relationship? Let me read that again. Do you think it's possible to grow from your own trauma while in a healthy relationship? Yes. If you are in a healthy relationship where you feel valued, respected, loved, committed to, that could really help your sense of self. If it's really healthy and it's very good for you, yes, it will help you in your past issues, because now you have somebody who's broken the mold on treating you well. So yes, you can. You can. Not to say that your partner, your relationship should be the thing that heals you. No, that's your individual thing. But that could sure help it along the way. Boy, can it ever. Okay, one more question, you guys. I'm afraid I'm just running out of, my throat is getting dry, but let me just get this one more. Thanks for all the hearts, you guys. Okay, so the partner can be quiet for 3 weeks and come home after 1 a.m. every night. We tried therapy, but no change. Sweetie, I think that relationship has bit the dust. Therapists can't fix relationships. People in therapy fix them. Just so you know, therapists have no magic powers, but it's what people choose to do in the therapy room that makes the difference, not the therapist's words. I used to say this all the time. I can speak until I'm blue in the face. What matters is what you're going to actually do with it yourselves when you leave here. Followed. Okay. Married 3 years. How can I verbalize more respect in speaking to my husband? Okay, I did address this a little bit earlier, and it's about asking what they need from you instead of assuming, and letting them speak their thoughts, poking around about, hey, what do you think? How do you feel about this? Making them sure, letting them feel included, and don't make promises that you can't keep. So make sure that your words and your actions match. All right. If you haven't followed me yet, feel free to do so. I am going to have to sign off. I don't know how long I've been on here, but my body is saying, Elena, it's time for some self-care. It's time to go eat. And it's time to carry on with the other things that are demanding my time right now. So I do appreciate you guys. Thank you. I cannot speak enough about how much I appreciate that you trust me with your vulnerable questions. Truly. And so I consider it quite the honor. And I will see you next time. My next live will be at least Friday. Maybe I'll squeeze another one in there. I'm not sure, depending on my availability. But again, from my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll see you again soon.